to remember that. You've got such great kids.
Thank you so much.
I love your kids so much, and they're so much fun. The weekend, you just got such a sweet family.
Thank you.
Don't you just go, thank you, God? Did you just like get giddy in the morning because you just got this beautiful family?
All the time. I reflect so much. Actually, we'll have our 10-year wedding anniversary.
Oh, that's awesome.
Friday, April 23rd.
Good.
So,
Good that you know it.
Yep. So of course.
That's next Friday.
I have to know that. That's the queen. So.
Yeah. You got big plans? 10 years, yeah.
Yeah, we do. Of course, we have big plans. It's a surprise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shh. We don't want to tell.
Yep.
So just the fact that you remembered it, right? No, the 10 one's a big one though.
Yeah, she's my best friend. I mean, it's a fun process. She and I working together, and as a couple and also as parents. So I enjoy every
That's
minute
wonderful.
of it.
Yeah, you are precious. She's one of those people. I got so tickled at her because she would come in with the mask on, and you could still see her smile through her eyes, and that's a gift when you smile with your eyes, because she just smiles so beautiful, and she smiles with her eyes too, and that's what I just love about her. But well, happy anniversary!
Thank you so much.
Happy anniversary, and boys, you better make sure your brothers. I mean, you're in charge since you're the oldest. You got to make sure you keep them in line. If we end up with a little bit of extra time, maybe we'll get him on and talk a little bit about Innovation Academy. Because we talked to Dr. Causey about that yesterday, and the way that they're growing that academy to where they're adding grades every year to where those kids can go into Innovation Academy and stay through their senior year. So what grade is he in? Since he's off mic, I'll ask you to have him shout out.
6th grade.
He's great.
Yep.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to just grow right there and stay there.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's gonna be so cool. I can't wait to see what you do. Oh, isn't that cool?
Absolutely.
I mean, just seeing a kid that's getting hold of that right now, and what does he want to be when he grows up? Do you have thoughts on that? Come over here to the microphone.
Yes,
Come on over here to the microphone, Mr. Donovan. So why don't you stand up there by Dad if you don't mind? I think we'll get a better. What do you want to do when you grow up?
I probably want to be a basketball player, or my second thing is one who creates content, a YouTuber.
Okay.
Follow Dad's path.
Okay, and Dad's path is working in the community and stuff. Come this way a little bit. You're off my camera. I want them to see you. But and so, what does your dad do? I'd like to hear the perception of what kids think their dad is. What does your dad do?
He helps out the community. Just recently he did a community cleanup.
Yeah.
In Memphis, and he just does a lot of those things to help out the community. So I just wanted to be that when I grow up.
Okay, so you guys went to Memphis and did that, huh?
Yes.
Okay, well, we'll let Dad tell us more about that. Well, you're a fine young man, and it's my pleasure and my honor to know you. So thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was Danavan Hylton III. I love it. And so we've got Danavan Hylton II. And so we're going to talk to him. He comes in once a month, and we just try to be real intentional about trying to connect our communities. We want diversity, and we just want to just love on each other. We don't want there to be any kind of boundaries and walls put up. And the only way we know to do it is just to start the conversations. I love those guys that you've been bringing in here. I love Otis. Oh my gosh, he's such a doll.
He sends his best, of course.
Oh, I just love that man. Yeah, that blew my mind because I didn't fully understand who that was.
Gotcha.
Because I follow sports only when I've got a kid out there. And so I'm as big a football fan as if my kid's playing. And so while they were playing in high school, and I had one that played through college, and I was real excited about football, but people take that to mean that I know about football. I don't know anything about football.
Gotcha.
Only when they're out there. So the name didn't ring with me.
Gotcha.
But he was sitting here, and I mean, this is like an ex-NFL player, and is a shareholder in Woolworths. I mean, good land. And I'm just sitting here. We were just, and I would have liked to have talked more with him, and I want to have him back in.
Absolutely.
So, for sure. So, where are we on the fight? Do you have any update on that? Where are we on that? So, talk to me about that, because that's what they were here to promote.
Absolutely. So, the big Rumble in Robertson County is Saturday, May 8th. The competition starts at 7. The doors open at 6 p.m. We have a little bit of everything. Didn't know what you want to get into as far as details, but we have 12 to 15 matches so far.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, as of now, we don't have any Robertson County fighters, but we do have a total of 9 fighters collectively from Nashville and Clarksville.
Okay.
And then the remaining fighters happen to be from either out of the county or majority of them are out of the state as well.
Okay. So come on, Robertson County.
We definitely.
I'd love to have you guys come out.
I do want to give a shout out to a few gyms in Robertson County that we did
Okay.
connect with. Unfortunately, they just didn't have fighters at the
Okay,
time,
they
but
were
they
ready.
do want to support.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I do want to shout them out. Black Lion Martials Arts and Fitness in Portland, Joey Brazel's Family Martial Arts Academy in Springfield, the Training Edge Tennessee in Springfield, Get Fit in Springfield, the Robertson County Family YMCA, talk with them in Springfield. Karakido Karate in Springfield. I have 4 more guys. Evoke Springfield Health Club in Springfield. Deep South MMA, cardio kickboxing. And then we also have Just Be Fit in White House, Studio Balls in White House. Also want to shout out Vanada's Karate Institute in White House as well. And had a chance to connect with those great gyms, but unfortunately they didn't have any fighters at this time.
Mm-hmm.
But that's some of the smaller news, but we have much more news on the fight, but I just want to stop there. But that's
Okay.
where we are.
Very cool, very exciting, and this is something that I know a lot of people. You've got a lot of spectators here. There's a lot of folks that just want to come out and watch it. Maybe they're not ready to fight, but I think those gyms will have people that
Absolutely.
are working towards that goal.
Yep.
That are going to be there. They're going to watch it because it's exciting. I mean, it's exciting stuff. So very cool.
Thank you.
So, and as Donovan and I were talking just this last week, and when I say talk, I mean text. We've been texting, and we had just kind of a text that's like, well, you've had a couple of things going on you want to talk about, but we didn't really come in here with an agenda today other than just kind of updating everybody on what's going on. But if you have some, comments or questions for Donovan, please just definitely put them up, and we will get to those throughout the morning because he's here for the entire hour.
All right.
So where do you want to go right now? Where do you want to start as far as the things that you have going? I tell you what, it's already a quarter after. I've been chit-chatting too much here. Let's go ahead and stop for a second, and I want to go ahead and do my first sponsor if we can. And we're going to start with Riceman Buick G. And so where are we going to go? What do you want to talk about today?
Just
Brad?
real quick, just where one can purchase tickets for the Springfield competition. But also, before I forget, I do want to shout out the Hilton family's love and condolences to the Cobb family for their loss. I want to say at the beginning of the show, but that's never easy, obviously, and our hearts and prayers go with them.
Thank you for that. And again, just if you hadn't heard, Troy Cobb passed away earlier this week, and again, no details on that, but just love on the Cobb family. Just so difficult. We've had Trenton here so much. He's so much fun to talk to with the fairgrounds, and they were in earlier about 6 weeks ago. Maybe I don't know if it's been that long, but we did a show just all about things going on at the fair. And so we'll be talking to him a lot, and just love on him. But thank you for that. And where do you want to go? Where are we going to be able to get these tickets now?
Yep. So one can just go online as of right now. www. And I put the link on the post here, but www.tinyurl.com /Robertson County floor seats.
Okay.
tinyurl.com Robertson County floor seats. We have tickets starting off at $20 for general admissions.
Okay.
There's 2 floors, so the second floor will be in the bleachers where you're able to look down. Then we also have floor seats, which are $45 per seat, and that's where you get a chance to sit on the floor at a table to watch the fight. And then we also have VIP floor tables. They are $500, and that's the only way for you to ensure that you're guaranteed seating on the floor tables with your friends and family.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
I'll put the link there for those that want to purchase tickets.
So how many would, if I buy a table, how many are accommodated by that?
8 seats.
Okay, so they get you 8 seats, and you know
Absolutely.
you'll have a table. Now, will those VIP tables be up closer to the ring?
In this case, they would be, especially if you're
Okay.
paying the VIP.
Okay.
Those would be. But again, now once the day of the fight comes and those tables haven't been filled, then traditionally it's first come first
It's
serve.
going to be
for
general
the-
admission.
for the-
Okay, it'll
yep.
be the floor seat
The floor
tickets
seats,
that
yep.
can pick those up.
Absolutely.
So if you have a $45 floor seat and there's a table up by the ring, you can still get it if those bigger full purchase tables
Absolutely.
hadn't sold. Gotcha.
Absolutely. I think we're.
Gotcha.
Most of the tables are sold out at this point. I could be wrong, but I
Okay.
want to say the VIP floor table is the only way you can also see the fighters warming up and go kind of get an exclusive access
Yeah.
to the production, if you will, as well.
Okay.
So it's kind of an incentive.
Sure. And it'll be a fun time. I mean, it's exciting and it'll be great. And so very good, very
Yes,
good.
absolutely.
And tell them the date again of that.
That is Saturday, May 8th. The doors open at 6. The competition starts at 7 p.m. at the Center in Springfield,
Very good.
401 North Main Street.
Everybody knows where the
Springfield,
center
Tennessee.
is.
Yeah, you turn looking at me. They say, "Don't mess
right.
that up."
It's right. No, you're fine. It is just off the square. Just
Yeah.
off the square. And you can't miss it. It's across from Springfield Baptist and Main Street Church of Christ right there. So find Main Street Church of Christ, Springfield Baptist Church, and it's across the street.
Simple
So
enough.
there you
Absolutely.
go. Easy. So
outside of that, I do want to shout out Commander Terry Wilson. He's with the Veterans Affairs Department
Right.
here in Robertson County, but he's also the commander for the American Legion Post 45 in Greenbrier. And I do just want to advocate for everyone, if they can, for the month of Saturday. They are hosting their first annual turkey shoot every Saturday. I believe it starts at 8 in the morning and it wraps up close to 12, no later than 1. And from there, you're able. It's a fundraising event.
Right.
The wife, Malika, and the boys and I had a chance to participate.
Okay, that was my next question. So
Yes.
you went to the turkey shoot.
Yes, we were at the turkey
Did you
shoot. I did not shoot. Malika and the boys shot.
No
Yes.
way. How did Malika do?
She got one, what is it, pebble on the pavement. We had the shotgun.
Yeah.
So one buckshot, if you would call them the.
Oh wow.
Just one, but it
gosh,
made it there.
That's awesome. I wish I could have seen that. That's
Absolutely.
fun.
And I should have the video. The video wasn't supposed to be released yesterday, but we had some challenges. But I'll put the link of our experience and
Fun.
a lot of course, adults, kids. The boys had a chance to shoot, and again, I wanted to also maybe get into gun safety. That was a conversation as well. But if you can, just make sure if you can stop by on Saturday. I believe it's like 12 to 20 rounds to shoot, and it's $3 to $5 per round to shoot. The fundraising piece is designed to make sure that veterans have financial resources and money available for needs. And so it's a really good cause. I want to thank the veteran servicemen and women for their service, and I do want to advocate to all of Robertson County, if you can, for the next 4 Saturdays.
This month.
This month.
Through this month
Absolutely.
on Saturday. And this is something they've been doing for a long time, really. This is kind of a base fundraiser for the veterans, but they couldn't do it last year because of the pandemic. And so that really hurt their fundraising ability. And so this is a chance for us to kind of replenish the coffers and get it to where you've got a situation that if you do have a veteran that needs groceries, I mean, they've got to have a pool to, they've got to have a stash to be able to have some funds to be able to do those things.
Absolutely.
So those things that we need to do to take care of these veterans, that's why we need it, guys. So there's a lot of stuff. Lee Marie, my producer, she is going to talk to us a lot about the month of May is Veterans Appreciation Month. And so there's going to be a lot of events during that time. And so she's going to kind of come in one day next week, I think, and we're going to go over that just so people can know, because we want to be very intentional about honoring our veterans. Our president of Ebenezer Broadcasting is a veteran. Ilya Maldonado, we honor his service, and he, as a matter of fact, he has been taking care of his son, who is an Army active duty, and they just got him back to base. So he's, there's military ties all over the place here as well. So I know that they appreciate that for sure.
Absolutely.
Very cool. So loving on our veterans.
I do want to shout out Lee Marie for inviting Malika, the boys.
Did she reach out to you guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was volunteering, so that was my biggest thing, recording, so I didn't get a chance to really shoot, but it was a fun experience. I believe the boys had smaller shotguns, Donovan and Micah. I think Malcolm shot a 20 gauge shotgun, and I think he was shot the 20 gauge because there was another 8 or 9 year old boy that was shooting a 20 gauge shotgun. I think it was a 20 gauge, and Malcolm's more of a bigger, heavier set kid, and so but he did get some kickback, but it was a fun experience.
Okay, Donovan, get back in here on your dad's mic. Did you shoot? Come on. Did you shoot? Come back over here and move this way so we can get him on camera. Did you shoot? Come up on the microphone, babe.
I shot and I got like 2 or 3 pellets in, not much.
Yeah, but did you like it? Do you like shooting shotgun? Is it fun? Was that your first time to shoot a shotgun?
First time shooting a shotgun.
Okay, so but you have had some firearms experience. Well, that's cool. So would you say that it's a fun thing for kids to go out and do the turkey shoot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have they get to get turkey. I forgot all the other prizes, and one more is money. You can get money from it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can win cash prizes too. Yeah, so that's very cool. So I just wanted to see what you thought about it. So kiddos, Donovan says, he, it definitely can get out there and be a part of that, so.
Yeah.
But, well, fun stuff, I love that. So where else do you wanna go today, my friend?
Well, I want to get your thoughts on that. As far as the gun safety and
Uh-huh,
kids shooting guns, and I
Uh-huh.
know traditionally I'm making some pushback on my side, especially when I post those kind of pictures and things like that. But I think it's very, just being honest, I think it's very important for kids and everyone to be aware of firearms.
Oh, yeah.
How they work, and how much responsibility and accountability you need for a firearm, because it's our responsibility as individuals to make sure we're using them correctly. And one of the veterans that were there made a good example as far as showing his grandchildren how explosive a firearm is, and he held up a paper plate, I guess at his home at one point, and shot through the paper plate and saw how the bullet in the paper plate was tore up. He said, "Imagine this paper plate being flesh." So this is very serious. And again, I'm very open with my kids in regards to the rights, of firearms, and also more importantly when they're around those that know what they're doing in a safe, very professional environment, which is what we experienced. I think it's a great opportunity for kids to be educated.
yeah,
We were there every step of the way, and there were a lot of adults and veterans that obviously cared and wanted to make sure the kids were aware. So I want to get your thoughts, if you didn't mind, on this, if there was any thoughts at all on gun safety and gun advocacy. I'm an advocate. I appreciate firearms; they protect us. But I want to see if you had any thoughts on that before we got to the next topic.
it's really interesting because number one, I think that the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, and that's just all there is to it. There's been too many cases where you've had these shooters come into schools and to businesses, and if there had been somebody there that was trained with a weapon, you could have saved lives, and it's just the bottom line. And I think that one of the reasons why, as we look at our country and the instability of it all, the thing that protects us is that we have an armed citizenry. And that's part of what the Second Amendment's all about, is making sure that the citizenry can protect themselves.
Absolutely.
And so I'm a very big proponent. I don't think there should be any, I personally, I know people are going to be like, are you kidding? I don't think there should be any laws regarding firearms. Because I think that if you allow pure freedom, true constitutional carry, which has been debated, and we've got a constitutional carry that has passed, but is it a true constitutional carry when you put limits on it? I mean, when I was a kid, I grew up in the 60s and 70s, it was nothing for somebody to have a shotgun in their car. Maybe they were going to go hunting. That's just where they kept their gun. And nobody thought about people stealing it. I mean, when you make something a thing, then it becomes a thing. And see, when I was a kiddo, it just wasn't a thing. You had weapons, they are tools. And they are tools to defend yourself and to hunt with. And to, for sport and target shooting. I went, I went to a skeet shoot one time, and as a fundraiser, when they had the pull for the chamber that they have, that's the same kind of thing. I went to one of those when I was working down in Texas with the Blaze. Awesome. It was so much fun. And it's not a cheap sport, I'll tell you that, but I love that. If I had the money I wouldn't want to go golfing, I'd want to go shooting. And I just think it's a great time. But the bottom line is, it's your right. And, I hear a lot of people, they get, all concerned about what the government's going to do. And yes, they can try, but we have to very clearly say no. And we have to make sure that we do things in the way we vote and in the people who we support that are going to stand up for that, right? And I just, bottom line is, we have to be informed, we have to stay ready, but I'm definitely somebody who doesn't think it's a right. I know it's a right here in this country, and I will always stand up for it. But with all that said too, I'm not great with guns. I'm not a great shot. I had an armed guard license that I finally had to let go because after my arthritis got bad, I'm just not a very good shot anymore. And I respect that, and I know my limitations. Unfortunately, there's too many people who want to pack weapons and they don't know their limitations, and they don't, and that's the big thing, is we used to train our children with weapons, and now we don't. It's like, oh, there's a gun, and it's like, come on, don't be so hysterical. Train your kids to respect them and train that gun safety. I have Caleb Stratton will be coming in first of next week. and he is our wildlife resources officer. And they have all kinds of hunting safety classes that even if you're not a hunter, you need to have your kids go through the hunter safety course because they're going to teach them gun safety. And they're free, I think. Maybe I need to check with Kyla. I'm almost 100% sure they're free. But Donovan's definitely old enough.
Yep.
And how old are the twins?
They're 8 right now.
I forget the age, but I think they're all pretty much right there. But he's definitely a good age to go through the hunter safety. And have you ever been through a gun safety course?
I'm going. No, I'm not.
See, you could go with the kids. Yeah, absolutely. We could too. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean that way you get the proper training, because far too many, when you get this attitude about, come here, son, I'm going to teach you about guns. I mean, I'm sorry, kind of redneck voice. You know what I mean? We got to be real with people and teach them how the proper way is to handle weapons and the respect for them. But the hysteria has got to go on both sides. Come on, cut it out. But anyway, what do you think? Was that what you were thinking I was going to say?
No, it's the great equalizer.
Yeah, So, and the views and opinions are my own and don't necessarily express the views of the ownership of this radio station. I'm no longer the chairman of the Republican Party, but I will still clarify that. So, my politics are quite conservative, and my politics are biblical. That's where I go. I don't go political, I'm biblical. But, anyway, so. I love you too. See, I want you here to talk, and you start asking me questions, then I go off on a tangent.
These are great points, and again, I say humbly, just in the community that I serve, I want to make sure that these type of conversations are both seen visually, and I talk about them. And again, I pray that I don't do anything that I wouldn't advocate for somebody else, and I want to make sure that people are aware that there are firearms, and again, it's important for the safety and the training piece, And I talked to a lot of the, individuals there that were, veterans or mature, and they've been, like you said, had guns all their lives, been around guns all their lives, but it was taken away as far as that training. I would advocate the same thing for civics, as well, with firearm and civics training. I think this would be a whole different situation as far as the citizen productivity, but again, it's another conversation for the time, but at least in regards to the turkey shoot, please make sure you stop by on Saturday.
Absolutely. Come by there, and that can begin your exposure, and you can start learning more about it.
Absolutely.
So, okay, so now we got about 30 minutes left here. My friend is here. Let's go ahead and stop and do another break. And I'm visiting with my friend Danavan Hylton and Danavan Hylton III. And I'm going to start calling you Danavan Hylton III because I just like it. It's elegant. But you're, the second. But anyway, so my friends are in the house with me, and we're talking about just things going on in the community, things. We're just trying to build bridges and trying to break down walls, and that's what we're doing. And that's really the work that you're doing, is trying to build up community and just see that the walls that are there are not really there, guys. They're invisible, and they're man-made, and so there's no wall keeping any of us from anything. And we need to we got to just cut this stuff out. So,
well said.
Amen. All right, my friends. So we're going to talk for just a second about Corbin Creek Greenhouse, Gifts Nursery and Gardening Store. My friend Doug Drake. And since I kind of touched on the subject of the vaccine, where are you on vaccines?
Well,
do you have much?
Because I plan on doing some international traveling, then I'm going to have to take the vaccine. Humbly, I was not planning on taking the vaccine myself, but I do want to do some traveling, so I believe that'd be part of the process.
Well, and I don't think that I'm hoping that it's not something that they make you do, because I don't think that's what America's about. Bottom line, you should have the choice to take it or not. And so I do not advocate for that. But I've heard far too many stories about people who, I'm 58 years old, you guys, okay? And I've had friends that nearly died from it. And just all of a sudden they were fine one minute, next thing I know, I got a friend right now that I haven't heard an update on his health, but he was just fine and went out and played some golf, started getting sick. And next thing you know, he's in the hospital on a ventilator. It's some serious stuff, man. It's a scary virus. And you can talk about all the things about how they definitely politicized it. There's no doubt about that. But it's still a nasty, dangerous virus. And, so was polio, so was smallpox, and we had vaccines for those. Every medical professional that I know and trust has told me take the vaccine. Now they might be advising me to take the Pfizer instead of the Johnson & Johnson, but you know, so I took the Johnson & Johnson. I was wanting the single shot, and I like the convenience of the single shot, and so I took the Johnson & Johnson. Made me sick, but you know, nothing terrible, but I was sick all last week, off and on, and so I'm great today, but you make your own decision. That's what America's about.
Absolutely.
So I was just wondering where you guys came on that.
This is a great conversation. This helps me. I have trust issues.
Yeah. Me too.
Me
too.
I get to see how things play out. I say this
Yeah.
humbly because it's a serious situation, so
Yeah.
I don't say none of this lightly. But I'm glad you brought those things up. You know, I used to serve as an admissions representative at a college.
Yeah.
And part of that process was to make sure that individuals had immunizations and mumps, measles, and rubella. And when I talked to some of the elders, if you will, they were telling me, you know, when they were younger, those were big deals, and you had to get the shot and vaccine to where we take it for granted today. So I'm not opposed to staying healthy, you know.
Right.
Just need a little more time, you know.
Absolutely.
And, you know, if it,
Well, you're a young guy too, and so if I were younger, I don't know that I would have wanted the shot. You know, and so I don't know. I mean, it's just you have to make an informed decision. You know, and that's really interesting that you mentioned the colleges, because you do have shot records that you have to have, and you have to have shot records for school. And that could become a thing to where it's a shot that is required for admission into school. And then you'll have to make your decision, and you'll have to, I mean, I don't know. When you're talking about a private institution, if it's not a state school, then I still believe you should, I think you should have the freedom to not take any shot that you don't. I don't think that you should be forced to take immunizations. But I am a supporter of being vaccinated for stuff, because I think that's part of our, I mean, God's allowed people to get really smart and be able to do some pretty awesome things. Used to be, I can't say this enough, I had gone so blind with cataracts last year that grew. I didn't know what was going on with my vision. I thought I had macular degeneration. I didn't know what was happening. Just all of a sudden, I just couldn't see. Well, I had cataracts that just grew very, very quickly. And years ago, there's a woman that we take care of down in Mexico. We get her glasses, and she's in like a +12. She has one eye that's not covered with a cataract that she can see out of, and she has a cataract that's just white on her eye. And you know, here we take care of that. She's blind in one eye because of that. I've had both of my hips replaced. This time last year, I could barely walk with one of my hips. It was so bad with arthritis.
Wow.
Okay. That's modern technology. That's modern miracle medicine that God allowed us to have the wisdom to do. Because trust me, you ain't gonna be doing any of these things if God's not in line with it.
Absolutely.
So, you know, he makes people smart enough to figure these things out, and look at what we can do. You know, 50 years ago, I'd be blind and crippled for the rest of my life. Well, I got a lot of life left in me. So that's why I love the miracle of medicine, and I think it's something that God has allowed us to do. So, absolutely. I don't know. What do you think?
I absolutely agree. I'm 100% with you. And if we can take advantage of it, you know, obviously in accordance to the word, then take advantage, you know. So I definitely agree. And this, to me, that's why I just continue to advocate. It's a great country. You know, we have some challenges, but, you know, especially in healthcare, I don't think there's too many places in the world you can go where you're able to take, you know, get a lot of service, you know, really, if not for free, for minimal, or just to even have the option or opportunity to have those kind of surgeries. So, you know, it's a great place, and I definitely agree with you.
Very good. And, you know, and I'm talking way too much. I want you to talk more. Where are you on healthcare and things like that, as far as insurance and all that? Did your family navigate the waters of insurance and all that fairly well?
Yes.
Or is that kind of a stickler for you guys?
No, we navigated fairly well. And I do want to give a shout out to my wife Malika, who has been 100% on it and allowed me to focus on something else. But I haven't had any challenges from Malika during that process so far.
Because that's one of the most important things. And I talk to people all the time about, you know, you've got to make sure that you have insurance for your family. And one of the ways to do it is either the husband or the wife find a job that has insurance packages that you can incorporate into your family's budget, because it's just the responsible thing to do. Now, it is very frustrating that the deductibles are going up and things like that. Healthcare is far too expensive, and I believe the government's being involved in that has hurt that process. But we also have to take care of those who, like little kids and people who are disabled, and people who absolutely, my sister had cancer, and so she could have gotten to where she would have not been able to be insured. We don't, that can't be in this country. We have to make a way for people who have pre-existing conditions and those types of things to be able to be taken, have access to our health care. But I don't think the way we're doing it is the right answer personally. But again, that comes down to my get out of my life government politics, which is where I kind of hang my hat.
I see. And it sounds like this process is a challenge as far as with deductibles and insurance. This just didn't happen overnight. This has been a process over a few years as I'm learning the civics process and getting more involved in legislation. So it sounds like, from what I can hear, this is something that's been happening over the last few years, and it's been getting more challenging as far as healthcare over the years.
Yeah, and I kind of know where it started, and it has to do with what we term Obamacare. Whenever they stepped into it, and I mean that's where it stems from. All you gotta do is look at the prices of where healthcare was at that time. Now there were a lot of people that were falling through the cracks, and that needed to be addressed, but not with what they did.
I see.
And I just think it was not the right move at all, and I think it's messed up our insurance for sure. But and that's again, opinions are my own and don't necessarily express the views and opinions of the ownership of this station. But have you? I mean, that's a good study for you.
Yeah, that's
is to look at the roots of where we were healthcare. Just look. 30 years ago, where we were, as far as what it cost somebody to have insurance and the way the insurance plans worked within the companies, and look at the ideas about what would happen with true freedom to purchase insurance, cross state lines, and all of those things. If the government tends to mess stuff up, and if they would just back out of the things that is not constitutionally their responsibility, and it's just amazing what we've done with this nation, and we've got to start shaking it out and trying to get some of those freedoms back.
I tell you, I've learned so much. Keep in mind, U-Turn, I could be wrong, but I believe our 1 year anniversary of us doing this particular show is in July.
Really?
I believe so.
Have we been doing this for a year? That's crazy.
Yep.
Man, time flies.
And I wish I could show you just the notes I've been able to accumulate and just things I've been able to learn just from our conversation, either between us or just going home doing research and coming back, to include the play Hamilton, which I had never heard of, but I was doing research on how political parties were formed, and we got to that conversation and told somebody about the show, joined the show, and we were talking about political parties, and then someone said, "Hey, have you seen Hamilton?" And there's so many things that opened up. So I don't know. I'm gonna try to, for a 1 year anniversary, just come up with the accumulation of notes or things I've came up with or what we talked about, so everybody can learn and grow.
And I'm curious about, I have not watched Hamilton. I need to, because I heard somebody describe Hamilton the other day as a reimagination of history. And that bothers me, because if you're getting your history from Hamilton without confirming that it's true, then that could be problematic. So I caution you, anytime you do something that somebody calls a reimagination of history, that means that it's, you have to check your historical facts. And I love watching, like there was a series, and I don't know who put it out, but it was called Turn. It was about the Revolutionary War, and really enjoyed watching that. But I was constantly, when they would do something, checking it against history, and I was very impressed how historically accurate they were in many, many ways.
I see.
But when you're watching something, I remember being in a class one time with somebody, and this is a Bible class, and we were talking about the end times, and we were talking about what heaven was going to be like, and there was a question that somebody asked, and it didn't come from, it wasn't a scriptural question. And I realized that the question they were asking came from the book series, what's that series? Taken Away, it's like the Taken Away series, Left Behind, the Left Behind series. Gotcha. There's a series about the end times called Left Behind. And I had read the series, and so when they asked the question, I thought, okay, that did not come from scripture, that came from the series Left Behind.
Gotcha.
And so you've got to be careful when you're watching stuff like Hamilton, is my point, to make sure that the reimagination of stuff, make sure it's the truth.
Absolutely. I second that motion, and so
So-
much I've learned from this show, all the way down to I no longer, I say humbly, do my main research through Wikipedia.
Oh, don't do that. Wikipedia is a great place to start.
Yep.
Okay, I mean, well, it can be a great place to start because if you use that in college, if you use that in you're turning it into paper, well, they'll just mark you off.
Yep.
But in Wikipedia, they have sources where they got their source. So you go to Wikipedia and go, okay, and then go to the source. Don't quote Wikipedia.
Absolutely. And these are all learning lessons, but absolutely, I agree with you on Hamilton.
Yeah.
Everything that I've done, the wife and the boys and I, we made sure we did our research.
Yeah.
You know, but I like the show because it's something civics. I mean, we don't have
Yeah,
anything.
absolutely. It's a good
It's something
starting place.
civics,
Absolutely.
and it's entertaining for folks to really at least start to do research and get more information.
You bet.
We need more of that.
You
We really
bet.
do. And I do want to just shout out now some of mine. 917 Society. They are a nonprofit that provides constitutional books to
Uh-huh.
8th graders. But at the same time, we just need more activities for young folks in civics. So
Is it the 1917 or
1917
project?
1917 Society.
1970, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they're about. But
Okay.
I think I've heard you mention it.
Mm-hmm.
And you think it's the society?
1917 Society, I believe.
And I've talked about wall builders a lot. I can't, say enough about what the work of David Barton and wall builders. I know that man, and it's just a great program. And you and I have talked about the Constitutional Live series.
Yep.
And I know that Christine Applegate, or I have to check her name, but Christine is her name. She came in and talked about the Constitutional Live series they were doing at her church, and it's available for free, really. And I'll have to get her information and send it to you because but the thing is, with something like Constitutional Live, it's a little bit hard to keep the kids' interest in stuff like that, but they
Gotcha.
need that study. You and Malika would love it. But it's very cool. So 1917. Okay, I'm just looking at here. I'm not sure. I'll keep looking this up and we'll see if we can give them some information on it. But that's the thing, looking for truth. And where else do you want to go with this conversation?
Yep. And so the last two items, just things that have been happening for me while in Robertson County. One, recently started umpiring for youth baseball.
Oh, fun.
A new experience for me. It's my first season. I had to start actually learning the rule books a few weeks before the season started. I want to shout out, I believe it's Mr. Terry Martin, Sherry Bryan, and Seth down at the Springfield Parks and Recreation. If you are an adult and you want to see your community continue to transform and move forward, and you want to see young folks continue to become productive, I'd always advocate to connect with your Parks and Recreations Department and volunteer or try to find a place where you can fit in. I always see a need for umpires, or referees, or officials for these youth activities. And so for that reason, I decided to go ahead and participate,
That's
even
wonderful.
though I did not know anything about baseball. I had to learn the rules as I go. I'll give you one example, just as far as, but the family and friends and community appreciate it. There was a time where the young man had swung. You have to look at every play. I'm behind the plate. The young man swung. He missed, but the ball chipped the bat.
Okay.
I called strike, 3 strikes are out, and 3 strikes for the inning. So the kids are coming off the field. But obviously, even though he swung and missed, the ball did nick the bat. So technically, that was a foul ball.
Yeah.
Where he can go ahead and
have
try
one
to
more
get,
swing.
so, but I'm saying all that just to be vulnerable. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
okay to not, I've been practicing and training, but again, we're going to make mistakes. So if you feel like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, so I don't want to participate. No, it's not about that. All you can do is get better, but it's about the kids, making sure that the parents have and guardians have a place to take their children for a fun activity. So if you can, just make sure you reach out to your local parks and recreations and participate wherever you can.
So I'm curious, did the kid get another swing?
He got another swing, of course.
Good.
Yeah, of
So you
course.
fixed
Yeah,
it.
of course. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know if it happened if you got schooled on it after the fact, or if they fixed it while
Before,
it was still.
middle, and after. In
Oh,
a loving
gotcha.
way. In a loving way. It was all, but
Yeah, bless your heart. But you're a good sport about it.
That's all you
great.
can do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's
Mhm.
wonderful. So.
Yep.
Very good. I just love your spirit. You're so fun. And Terry Martin's going to be our guest next Wednesday at 7. So that'll be fun. He's coming in.
My best.
Yeah, so he'll be in right before Ryan Martin. So that'll be fun. That'll be a fun interview. Where else do you want to go? I gotta shut up. See, my husband will be like, well, it was nice, but you talk the whole time. But he asks me questions. We're having a dialogue, and I tend to talk too much. So Go.
Absolutely, and one of the bigger things I like for folks to keep in mind as the base is growing on my end as far as watching the show. This is an opportunity for the both of us to be able to bring information out, to help build relationships, and to help change perspectives if there are perspectives that need to be changed. So I do like to ask questions just so that people on my side may say, hey, I didn't know, or I get a chance to really see what U-turn is about. I'm sure it's all positive, but again, I like to pull those things out. So it's, I put you in those situations, so you got to forgive me.
Oh, no, not at all.
Another thing that happened to me this week is I had a chance to meet, it may not be a big deal to some, but I had a chance to meet General Michael George Flynn as well. Yep.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Had a chance to connect with the general. I want to thank him for his service and just get a chance to hear his story, his recent experiences, and also his views on where this country is going.
Right.
And again, I would like to find, as a person bridging gaps, I find myself and deliberately put myself in positions where traditionally the community residents I serve aren't really there or not able to get access or information. Nice guy, and if you have any questions in general about that, please shoot, but I'm sure the general sends his best.
So how did this happen? How did you manage to get this meeting?
Yep, so I've been involved in civics now for about 5 years, and I'm all over the state. And again, intentionally, I'm in places where the community I serve usually are not, and so I built a lot of relationships. So I get invited to activities all the time. So I was invited to this particular event. The tickets were sold out, and they actually saved the ticket for me to come check it out. I want to say humbly, I was the only so-called African American male there. And I think there were a few females. As I looked across the room, it's not a big deal, but a lot of times some folks think, okay, is he coming in looking to cause challenges? Especially when I have the camera going. I'll never forget one time I don't know if I told you, I went to Mount Juliet, and Senator Ted Cruz was there, and it was a campaign season, so I came in the middle of the room and I had my camera going, and everybody's gravitated to me, but I made some great friends, got some really great business cards, stayed in contact with a lot of those folks. But again, same thing this week, stopped by, recorded. People were kind of, they're respectful, but I could tell, just a little disrespect, but
cut it out, y'all. Cut it out. Cut it out.
But again, a lot of business cards, a lot of great friends.
Yeah.
And this is how the relationships build. And these folks that I meet, will end up inviting me somewhere. I've been invited to go to, different conferences where they pay for hotels and airfare and stuff like that. Just to, even for example, you mentioned possibly doing a scholarship program with Mr. Barton. I believe they have a program. So just different situations like that. You get out there, you meet people, and next thing you know, opportunities open up. And you don't get a chance to meet the general, So when I was offered to go, I went down there, proudly took pictures. I have all that stuff, took some professional pictures with them.
Was that at a luncheon?
That was, it was from 9 to 12, so technically it was more like a breakfast. But it wasn't.
I've kind of I haven't been paying real close attention to political stuff because I just can't take it. And
I thought about you, this was last night or this morning. It was back in January, back during the whole elections and things.
Yeah.
And I remember for the first 3 weeks in January, that was just the talk of the town. So I remember by the third week, you were just saying, I just need to do subject,
Yeah,
so I can imagine bless your heart return.
Well, and again, you got to stay engaged, you got to pay attention, but you can't let it drive your life.
Yeah.
And you got to find where your responsibility is. If it's in your ability to change it or affect it, then it's in your responsibility. If it's not, it's God's.
That's it.
Hand it off and do what's your responsibility, and then hand it off.
Absolutely.
And I do remind John Rose all the time, our representative in the People's House, that it is his responsibility because we elected him and put him there.
Absolutely.
And Governor Lee, all you folks, Kerry Roberts, Dr. Savi Kumar. But I got to stop and talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team. They are the realtors you need to talk to when it comes.
I just want to thank you for the opportunity for us to connect each month. And the last thing I would like to say, if you know or anyone knows of a good singer or musician that would like to give the national anthem for the kickboxing competition,
awesome.
Please let me know. I want to make sure that the Robertson County residents are highlighted. I'm looking at this cup.
Yeah, the cup holder. I don't know who that is.
Okay, I was going to ask you.
There's like this little cup holder, and you're thinking, I'll tell you, we're looking for somebody to do the national anthem at the kickboxing tournament. Reach out to Donovan about that. Oh, you'll have no problem finding somebody.
Awesome.
I've got a couple of ideas of who you need to get to do that. But we'll talk about that off air. But anything that you've heard Donovan talk about, and you have any need to reach out to him, how can they get in touch with him and tell them how they can get with you business wise? What you do real quick.
Absolutely. So, of course, Facebook, Danavan Hylton. There's 2 profiles, but the profile you want to find is the one where I'm standing up with my arms with a big out like this and a big smile. As far as my reach out to me there. As far as my business, I'm self-employed. My wife and I run a business called Hylton Elite Marketing Agency. We specialize in business development and community relations, helping to increase the customer base and community presence, really of employers and real estate developers that are in the business of transforming and doing business in lower income communities. So you can reach me 615-953-4969. That's our office number. Or you can reach me through email, donovan.hylton@e1connect.com. That's all A's for Donovan. .Hylton, HYLTON the numerical number 1 connect.com. I'll put that in the comments. And our website is www.e1connect.com. So if you're looking to become more engaged in the community, looking to build relationships, or you're just looking to increase your customer base by first starting with generating leads, and as well as getting the sale closed, reach out to our firm. We're growing within Robertson, Davidson, and Montgomery counties.
I'm so excited for you guys.
Thank you.
Just pray for great success for you guys. You got a beautiful family. Love you.
Thank you.
Anything that you ever want to talk about, just give me a call, and I'll shut up and let you talk more next time. I got to.
You're doing great.
Yeah, I love you, brother. Thank you so much. This is 1100 WSGI. Thank you for joining us. And again, this is One Street Over, 1100 WSGI. We'll talk with you tomorrow. God bless.